So, again, thank you all for joining us today. We're excited to help you hopefully understand a little bit more of the robust reporting tools that are available to you through the NHA platform. Now, before we dive in and talk all about us, I want to just ask a couple quick questions, get to know you. The first here, you're going to see a poll populate out on your screen. We're just curious a little bit about how you would identify what your role is with your institution. So take a look through these different options here. Would you consider yourself a program director, a proctor, a counselor, maybe a different kind of administrator, or any other? Go ahead and post that in the chat. We're just curious to see kind of who's with us today and make sure that we can bring you the information that you need. So I'll give you guys just a second. Got about half of you there. Let me know if anybody else wants to ante in. And I'll be closing this up in just a second. Just curious to see who's with us. It looks like we've got a healthy blend, but primarily we're looking at classroom educators and program directors or coordinators, which is great. This is information that is definitely applicable for you. So excited to have you guys here with us today. So, here at NHA, we want you to know that we are fully invested in the success of you and your learners. And so, we're here to help ensure that all of them, no matter their background or needs, feel confident and empowered to take their learning as far as they can and hopefully earn an industry certification when they're ready. We know that confidence is a really big part of this process, and reporting provides insight into how you can help them on that path. So today's goals are to ensure that you feel confident in viewing that data so you can continue to help them excel. Now, I am going to ask another quick question today. Let's see. I'm going to just pull that up. There we go. As you were kind of thinking about joining us today, what are the things that maybe you were most hoping to learn? So, this is a list of items and questions that we get a lot around this kind of content. Take a quick minute and read through these and let us know what's the thing that you were really hoping to walk away with. I want to make sure that we do cover that for you. So, please do take a quick look. I know it's going to give you a second to read through everything, and that's totally fine. So, just are you looking to help them get ready for the exam? Are we looking at some of the other NHA materials, our pharmacy or core learning, soft skills developers? What's the reporting that you're really, really hoping to walk away with today? I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable with it before we finish up. So give everyone just a quick minute. Again, got about half of you here. All right. If anybody else wants to join in, I'm going to be closing this poll down in just a second. Thank you for your participation. This helps me make sure I'm bringing you what you need. Right, I'm going to close that poll. It looks like primarily we're looking at exam readiness. Not surprising, but we do have some other options here about reporting. So we'll definitely take a look at kind of how you can see anything within the NHA platform. On that, we want to make sure that you understand a little bit about what those resources are. Some of those options might be surprising to you. So, I'm sure, as you're aware, that we do provide frontline healthcare worker certifications and compatible learning resources for every step of the journey for your candidates. This starts with our 8 nationally accredited certifications and their associated study materials. This also, of course, includes didactic content, reporting, analytics, soft skills. But of those professions that we serve, 5 of the 8 of them are more on a practitioner side. That includes medical assistant, phlebotomist, pharmacy technician, EKG, and patient care. NHA also has 3 certifications on more of an administrative side, billing and coding, medical administrative assistant, and then the stackable certification of e-health records. Now, in addition, as I mentioned, we do develop some comprehensive learning tools around these professions. So we're going to be talking about reporting available for all of these tools. But as you expressed, we are going to kind of focus a little bit more on those related specifically to the exam readiness. So these continued resources we're developing on the whole learning track, as I mentioned, include things like medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, soft skills and clinical skills, as well as didactic content for lots of professions, medical assistants, administrative assistants, pharmacy technicians. All of these can be used across the entire journey, packaged together for your program to fit what you need. Each individual tool has documentation of learner usage, time spent, and progress. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Now, depending on what you're providing, NHA does have the option for you to use our full program maps. These help you implement the suite of resources based off of what you're using. This is one example of kind of a timestamp of using materials in sort of a piece by piece opportunity. We also have some maps that can look at it kind of at a concept. So if you're using multiple products at once, how do they align together, right? They're broken into different segments so that you can run your program to make that content as sticky as possible. Now, these are available to you. Just need to ask your NHA representative to get you based off of what you're using. And then we can get you those just depending on where you are in your program. So as I mentioned, we're going to focus on reporting, spending time on exam prep and testing readiness, and also review the other key features that are available to you for reporting and your program outcomes. So this is kind of our general agenda, but let's go ahead and begin by reviewing the big question that we always get. And it's, what do my learners need to get their certification? What do they need to do to pass? And this all starts with the NHA test plan. So the certification test plan is the blueprint or outline of the exam itself. Everything is based off of this tool. So it's important to understand how your learners will be scored on that high stakes certification test. In the NHA preparation tools, the practice tests, for example, they provide a straight percentage of accuracy across exam competencies. But the actual certification test evaluates them differently across a scaled score, which we're definitely going to review here in more detail. So exams are developed after a full job task analysis, which includes subject matter experts, industry practitioners, several rounds of committee evaluation. And this, along with our governing board and meeting accreditation standards, help us to create these test plans and our test questions. Now, all of the test plans are available on our website, ready for anyone to download. Simply locate the certification type under that Get Certified dropdown, and it'll be down at the bottom to download the free copy of that test plan. Now, I'm going to launch another quick poll here. I spoke real briefly to this, but let's see. Here we go. I'm just curious. How do you think the NHA exams are scored? There's a couple different options here. These are kind of different options for, and I don't know perfectly viable, right, or other, but these are all different potential methods of scoring that have been used in high stakes assessments. So I want to kind of see where you guys are, what you think. Go ahead, and it's okay if you're guessing. I'm going to actually tell you how they're scored here in just a minute, but I'm just curious what you guys think. So go ahead and give it a minute. Got about half of you again. Anybody else want to ante in? Maybe take a stab? Perfect. We're going to go ahead and close this up. And it looks like for the most part, there's kind of a variety. We're not really sure. There's a couple I don't knows, people kind of in each category, and that's perfectly fine. Let's just talk a little bit about that. So once an exam is released, after it's been developed, NHA has what's called a psychometrician team, great word, that processes those questions through several layers of evaluation. So every candidate who tests follows the same test blueprint. They'll have the same amount of questions in the same competencies, but those questions may vary from one learner to the next. We want to provide a fair score to every candidate. So all questions have been evaluated across several different layers. Primarily, how difficult or hard is this question? But other pieces like, how often in your job will you have to do this thing? Or how important is it that you get it right the first time? Now, these are just some of those layers used to establish what we call a cut score. So when we're looking at that, since everyone has a variety of questions they may be given, every test has a maximum potential to provide a fair evaluation. So same amount of questions, same categories, possibly different questions, same maximum potential. So that's a 500. So you want to think about a 500 is a perfect score on the exam. Now keep in mind, there will be test questions on every test that NHA doesn't score. This does not include those. Those are evaluated, they're used for analysis and data. So just those scored questions are what we leverage, what we use, and what's outlined in the test plan. So the minimum to pass for an exam after all that evaluation has been completed is a 390 or higher. So, for example, if you have a learner who earns a 389, that doesn't necessarily mean they missed one question, but that they didn't quite make the minimum cut score. Now, this is not broken down into standard measures of getting an A or B or C grade based off of percentage, but rather evaluating each learner uniquely across those weighted questions to make sure that they've hit that minimum expectation for mastery. So it's a different kind of a process. It's not kind of that typical 80%, right? That's not how this works. Now, to give you some information, here you can see an administrative login. Now, if this isn't familiar to you, please let us know in the survey at the end. You can let us know. We'll get you connected to your NHA primary contact. We want to make sure you have access to this. But right in the center of your screen, you'll see where all of your additional resources are found, specifically also for you, a link to all of the NHA test plans. So that's where you can access them directly rather than having to go search them. Now, exam scores for candidates who test through your institution are found directly from the quick link on your main page that says View Exam Results. You can take a look there and you'll find that's how you get under that candidates area. So you can see from this, once you have testers, that individual candidate names, scores, and if they earned their certification will be posted for you. Scores will populate on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, if there is an exam score, that basically means that the test occurred. Now, in the instance, as you see here, where there might be a missing score, that means a scheduled exam didn't happen. Now, usually this is due to a reschedule, but this could also mean a missed exam. So this is where you can sort of see those pieces. Now, on skipping tests, I wanted to call out a little bit of information around a study that we completed recently from over 6,000 candidates across the country to try and uncover some common themes for what their hurdles were to take their exam. Now, I'm going to post another quick poll here. There we go. So this is that exact same list. Of this list of items that we received back from candidates, what do you think was the biggest hurdle across the country? Do you think it was eligibility requirements? Perhaps it was cost. Do you think it was not really identifying the value? Perhaps it was requirements by local schools or employers? Or was it test anxiety? Maybe a low confidence. Why even try? Right? A couple different options here. Give you guys just a minute to look that over. All right. Got about half of you again. Anybody else want to ante in? It's okay. I'm going to close this down in just a second. Thank you for all your participations. This just keeps it interactive, right? Well, I'm going to show you. We're going to tell you exactly what happened. So for those of you who chose test anxiety, you're correct. All of these we got from individuals, from our candidates, but test anxiety was the biggest. It's one of the many reasons why it's a best practice to get your learners started early so you can monitor their progress and their learning through these reporting tools. In addition, NHA tries to send them some support, different emails, recommendations, suggestions as they're going through their process, but that test anxiety can be addressed by preparation. Here's just some of the hundreds of comments that we got from that survey that focused on uncertainty, not just around anxiety, but how do I know I'm prepared? Have I learned all the things I need? Even worry about making it through a timed exam. So that's where understanding the exam itself, as well as reporting and visibility to readiness through these analytics, can make all the difference. So let's take our reporting conversation further and actually dive into it, into our what we call Learning Insight Center. Now, I'm going to ask you another quick question. I know lots of participation today. I'm sorry about that, but here we go. When we say Learning Insight Center, what is your familiarity with that? Is it something that you already know about? You're using it all the time? I've done that. I don't really remember where it is. I might have seen it once. Nope, totally brand new. That's why I'm here, right? And if there's other, please, again, post that in the chat. Let us know. Just kind of curious what your familiarity is. We're going to be talking quite a bit about it, so I want to make sure you know what we're talking about. Okay, give you guys another couple of seconds here. Anybody else want to answer? This is really interesting. We have almost identical amounts in medium, small, and no familiarity. So that's exciting. We're going to go ahead and hopefully by the end of this, you will all be at least at the medium to very familiar. So that's my goal for today. All right. So as a review, the NHA exam online study materials, so this is that exam readiness we were talking about, are based on the test plan for that certification. They include an interactive online study guide, again, aligned to the test plan, that has graded quizzes, learning features to help us candidates prepare. And that package also includes a series of practice assessments designed to look and feel as close to that exam as possible. The reports available for these are based on candidate time in learning and assessments completed during that process. We're going to take a look at that here. So, no matter what learning resources you're providing to your learners, whether that be exam prep or other, you can access the progress reports directly from your dashboard. You can start by going into the course itself through the courses link on the left-hand side under prep materials. This is material you're providing to your learners. From here, you can select the course you want to access through these course details. Now, if it's an older course, you might have some PDF reports that are in there, but we've recently transitioned. So the newer material will actually look a little bit different. If you're using our current or updated material, you'll see this Learning Insights Center feature. So it just depends on if you're using kind of an older course, which we're transitioning a lot of these materials future, so we want to be moving towards that Learning Insights Center. Now, I said you can access this directly from your dashboard, which you can. So you don't have to go into your course. Simply select the Learning Insights Center on that navigation bar, and it'll take you right in to your dashboard. So this is a recently upgraded experience where you can actually access bookmarked or recently accessed reports. They should kind of populate here as you use this tool. You can view reporting from this landing page. You can access courses, your institution summary, or our download center. And we're going to take a look at each of these. So let's look at a recent course. So scrolling through this page, you can view the learners, the study guide, module, assessments, and even something called suggested review topics. You can see each of your learners to start. That's where we begin, identifying their progress through the NHA materials. Now on the right-hand corner is a filter. This will allow you to filter by learner, study content, or even assessment. So please use this if there's something you want to kind of weed out. Your course reporting is designed to provide you as detailed of a view of your learner access as you'd like. Navigating through will show you reports for your week at a glance. This is time spent in learning and practice assessment outcomes as well as topics at risk. Note that this will also show how much time the learners have spent in the NHA flashcard app when applicable. So those learning resources that have digital flashcards, your learners have the ability to also download our flashcard app. That's what it does. It's a flashcard only. And once they have that, they can actually log in and it helps them to kind of play around with those materials. It organizes them for them, makes it a little bit more fun, gamify. You can even set if you wanted extra credit in their flashcard app, for example, based off of their usage. So they can download this for free for either Android or Apple, and it's applicable only for those tools that have those active flashcards. Just depending on their device, we've got lots of how-tos and resources to help. So that data is allocated here. Now, selecting any learner's name will take you to their detailed report, and that's what we're seeing here. This is their view of their reporting. So yes, they get this too. Here you can review each module, assessment, or report at that learner level. Now back from your screen, you can also select the modules from your homepage. This will outline each module of the learning within your course, no matter what material is in your course. So if you have multiple pieces of material, midterm and AMP, for example, it will all be here. So if you only want to look at your midterm stuff, use that filter. Once you're in looking at the modules, you can select any independent one and it will dive deeper into that material, providing a per candidate look, most recent access, total time, quiz attempts, and scores. If you select a candidate from here, that will then take you into that particular learner. Oh, sorry, we just jumped to the assessments. I apologize. That will take you into that particular learner's page as well, like what we saw earlier. So now moving through, we're looking at assessments. This is going to showcase all of the practice assessments completed. So again, this is only applicable for those that have those larger assessments. So we're looking at exam prep, for example. How many attempts have occurred, average time spent, test score, how that score compares to the national average of that practice assessment, and information on the focus review. Selecting any attempt will open that assessment details page with, again, average score, time in the review, and a per candidate view, including one of my favorites, average time spent per question. It's a great layer of insight into how much time your learners are spending reading through the questions and answers before selecting theirs. It's a great opportunity to talk with them regarding test taking strategies. And just like selecting the learner's name from the study materials, selecting any candidate will take you directly to their personal report. For those courses that include the NHA exam prep, you'll also have this suggested review feature. So that's only related to exam prep, not those other learning tools. You and your learners will see their materials across the resource provided. You'll be able to view independent items. You can also view this kind of suggested review, and it's broken down by topic and then subtopic to help identify those areas at risk within this learning experience. Now let's talk about at risk, right? So for those courses with exam prep, we have something called our vitals analytics. This is a predictive tool that helps the educational experience. So learners from day one will be categorized in what we call our vitals engagement categories, and that only starts as soon as they begin using the material. The focus is on their learning behaviors and performance across these products. So engagement categories are designed by comparing learning behavior and performances with other learners in the same material who passed the exam in their first attempt. So they're going to be continuously measured and based on their usage of all of these aspects to kind of see where are they related to those kind of best behavior practices. So study guide, progress and performance, practice test, focus time, time on task. How often do they come back to the website? How many sessions do they do? All these different things are part of the algorithm to define these different engagement statuses. Now, these statuses are only visible to you as an administrator, not directly to the learner, to help you educate, guide, support at either a group or individual level. So you can see those insights where they might be. So let's talk a little bit about what these are. The key topics here, again, are that they're evaluated through this engine to categorize study behavior. So Vitals evaluates your learners in real time and is going to give you the categories for on track. So this means that their learning behavior and performance is tracking with those who have successfully passed the exam previously, how many times they're accessing it, etc. Developing is for those who might be a little bit off track with those that we've seen pass the exam. At risk means their performance and behavior does not resemble that of those who have had successful times in the exam. And then not enough data simply means they have not yet accessed the study materials. So again, this is related specifically to the NHA exam study materials. Now, I'm just going to do a quick temperature check here. I'm going to launch a question. I want to just check true or false. The NHA practice assessments use the same scoring system as the NHA certification exam. What do you think? True or false? Just a minute, and it's okay. You're going to find out the answer either way. So let's see what you guys think. Okay, got a little bit over half. Anybody else? All right, let's close that poll on up. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. The NHA practice tests do not follow the same scoring method as the high stakes exam. Remember that scaled scoring we were talking about. So this is a big difference. The NHA practice tests are what at your standard percentage of accuracy. That doesn't mean that you need to get a 70 to do well on the test. It's just saying based off of what they completed of these questions, they got this many correct. Now, due to this difference, we find that certain benchmarks may often discourage candidates from testing or not actually provide you accurate information. Setting certain milestones to hit on exam scores throughout their learning may not be realistic for everyone and actually discourage them from possibly even trying in the first place. So, our goal is that everyone has the potential to earn their goal and that industry credential. So, we'd recommend rather than using a given quiz or test score as a requirement to test, focus more on not only the time in learning, but the candidate growth over their learning journey. We've got some resources to help you with this. This is where the implementation guides can actually help quite a bit. And these are available to you. So the implementation guides outline for you the resources and content specific tools within each material. You can see this is just an example of 4 of our 8 certifications and the average time we would suggest that a learner take to work through independently the study material. It varies a lot depending on what we're looking at here. This is an example of how we will outline not only per certification, but also per module to help with implementation, setting expectations for your candidates. Now, we have these for every learning resource that we provide, not just for exam content. So, this is something to help you determine those expectations for your learners. So, our study materials allow you to monitor your learners in a unique and special group. You know them, you can observe their growth. The practice tests provide a clear and specific percentage of accuracy to help understand how they're doing, how they're growing. Now, NHA certification scores are designed to compare these against a larger group, the entire country. So the cut score doesn't reflect the same kind of scoring that the practice tests do. We're gauging their readiness to move into these roles, using these scaled scores to help define ability to walk into the job day one. So again, it's a different way of scoring from the practice test to the exam. So we want to make sure that's really clear that there is not a grade or score on a practice test that will say, yes, you're ready to test. We have a really great webinar that we did that talks a little bit about setting those pieces. And I'm going to locate that link and post it in the chat when we get close to the end. So if you want to learn more about this, we've got a little mini webinar that you can watch. Getting back to the material, we have another feature called the Download Center. The exam preparation tools have always had a PDF ability for download, but we now have a kind of more robust platform. So you may now see the Download Center as an option for you in your Learning Insight Center for those learning tools. So this actually gives you the option to select the materials you want to look at. You have to clarify the course you're searching for. And then you can select the learner type or individual, the document, and scroll down to download the Excel file. Oops, I went too fast, sorry. The Excel or PDF file that you want. If you see a PDF file, these are actually going to be the same ones that you might be familiar with previously, or transcript report, for example. This is where they're available now. Now, if you have a CSV file, that's going to allow you to download an uploadable Excel spreadsheet that will give you either details or a summary report of recent access. Now, I have to tell you, if you're not an Excel person, this might not be your favorite thing. So tread lightly, right? It just depends on if you need that kind of detail or not. Now, all of our learning tools have additional features, many with what we call facilitation toolkits. They have supplemental guides, lesson plans, possible resource maps. Depending on the learning tool, even PowerPoint presentations. For our skills tools, skills checklists. These outline the timelines for candidate progression and can have additional supplemental walkthroughs for you. So if this is something that you're curious about, does my product have this? Again, reach out to your NHA representative. A few things to note also about the Learning Insight Center is that assessments will default to the first attempt when you're looking at a report. Though we know repetition is a learning method, when it comes to assessments, we recommend keeping the retries to a minimum, expecting your learners to take the time to review before jumping back into the assessment. So, with this in mind, if your report looks off, double check that you are looking at the most recent attempt. Please know also it does take some time for reporting to transition into the Learning Insight Center. So if you have someone who completes a quiz or logs time, check back in an hour or so. Give it a minute to let those results load. But it's possible just a quick screen refresh might also help. You also have if you have a course where materials are optional, where you don't make them required or provide them directly to everyone, it may change what you see in your reporting. So that same filter we looked at originally, double check that it's set for all learners or all content. Again, if it doesn't look quite right. Okay, so we've seen reporting for certification exams at the individual level, for study materials at the group or individual. But let's also provide you, we also have a kind of a 360 overview of your program performance. We're going to take a quick look at that. So, same in the Learning Insight Center, you can select the institution summary from this page, and that will take you to the NHA Performance 360. That's what the report is called, to look at your overall program performance and progression. So this starts with a general landing page where you can select either a tab at the top of the screen or a particular box that you want to review. Each box will provide you a brief description of the report that you're looking at. So we're going to go take a look at the exam pass rates feature. Okay, let's break down what we're seeing from top to bottom. At the top are your tabs. Use these to move into other layers of information. Next, you'll see your details. Here you can edit the content you want to see. So if you're associated with multiple institutions or locations, for example, you can elect a specific date range. Now, this will default to exams taken since 2013, which is when NHA launched this reporting was in 2018. We included a 5-year backlog, so that's why 2013 might be the last one you'll see. Now, the body of this report is focused on your exam pass rates. This is defaults to a per year view, and we can see each year's pass rate indicated at above or below a certain benchmark of national average. This is represented by that gray dotted line running across the report. And also the total head count. This is represented by the black diamond. Now, this is an interactive report, so hovering over it will provide you more information and details. Depending on the data you need, you can set your filters to review your pass rates by year, location, or if there are multiple locations, type, or a combination of all three. As you move through into your summary, you'll see a lot. This page is your overall summary, so it has the most information at a glance. The same tabs we just looked at will carry over. That top bar for setting your parameters is still there, and it will save any settings you've already done. The next layer down is an outline of the exams taken during your set time range. This is not pass rates, but the percentage of what exam type your institution has tested. So for example, here we see 30% of this school's exams were MA and 21% were billing and coding. At the bottom left-hand box is the overview of these exams, looking at pass rate, head count, indicated by that black diamonds again, and comparative benchmark. So that's that same image we saw from the previous page. And then finally, you get an insight summary, the overview of your data written out. How many learners attempted exams? how many certifications awarded, average pass rate as it compares to national average, and percentage of learners who leveraged the NHA exam prep prior to testing. They will only show up here once they've tested. This report also allows for you to view the content area performance, which is essentially a breakdown of the test plan and how your learners are performing in each core domain. You can filter to a single certification or view them all at once as you like. So you can see you can go in, it's again interactive, and it will highlight different features for you. To really push, see where your program can continue to improve, edit this view by the comparative benchmark of passers only. This is going to show you learners how your learners did compared to those individuals nationwide who passed the exam in their first attempt. Hovering over any of these graphs will provide you the details of exam attempted during this time range, all the accuracy, how you compare, lots of great information here. But those averages are different, if you take a look here, for processing as it was for routine blood collections. This is one of the reasons why using a blanket benchmark score for practice assessments may not be the best indicator for candidate success or readiness. Some other views that you'll get as you continue into this report are observing usage of the NHA study materials before testing. This will only look at those who were provided preparation, who took their exam. You'll also be able to see, oh, I missed something, went really fast. So sorry, there'll be another report in there. So you'll see it behind it. Basically stacked credentials. If you look at that little line up at the top, what percentage of my learners are stacking credentials, and also potential retakes. How many of my learners didn't pass, who attempted to retake, and in what percentage or head count. As you can tell, there's a lot available to you at your fingertips to grab when you need it. You have access to these reports at any time. You should be meeting with your NHA representative regularly to walk through your program. They'll help talk you through some of this. Also, in the survey we're going to post here in a little bit, you can actually request additional one-on-one or group training for you and your staff on reporting if you want. It is one of the things that our client experience team is here to assist with if that's something that you would like. So please know these are all available to you. As a reminder, we want you to be able to address your questions when they happen. So you do have how-to resources available in your dashboard right from your home screen. Please know these are self-guided to help you, oh, how do I find this thing? Or, oh, where is this? What does this look like? And there's just tons of great stuff in there. So please take a look at that Knowledge Center. Now, if you can't find the answer there, then you can use what we call our client care team. That's the live chat, our help center phone line. They are available extended hours, but not 24 hours. But that does mean that you and your learners don't have to wait until your NHA contact is free to get urgent questions answered. This is really where students and learners should go when they're stuck, because they're going to be getting that help as soon as possible. It's a really great group of people. I've worked directly with a lot of them. I actually used to sit right next to them when I worked in the office before I went remote. So a really, really wonderful group of folks. And then, of course, you have your NHA representative, your personal contact. They're here to help with all other tools, resources, ensure you feel supported, that you have everything that you need to be successful and empower your learners on this journey. And again, if you or your team would like additional training, you can let your representative know or simply fill it out in the survey we're about to post. Now, I want to take a minute and make you all know how thankful we are for you. We want to just thank you for being here with us today. I know how hard you guys work. We all do. So you're really the heroes here. We're just here to help support you in any way that we can. So absolutely thank you. If you should see in the chat, Lauren has just posted. Actually, Lauren, you posted. Can you post that to everyone? I think that was just to hosts and panelists. Can we do that one more time? Lauren is going to post those links. Thank you for you to fill out. Open them up right now in a different browser. Fill them out when we're done. There's going to be two here. The larger one for the $500 gift card raffle. That is a personal survey about you and your program. The $50 card raffle is about this particular presentation, what you thought, questions that you had, things you'd like to see, etc. So please fill that out so we can get your feedback and also so you can get put into that raffle. Okay, so I just wanted to reach out and say, what questions do we have? Are there any? Have any come in from today? I just wanted to get some open Q&A.
Yeah, Laura, this is Lauren. We actually did not have any questions, but anyone who has a question, feel free to post in the Q&A or the chat box.
Yeah. Now's your chance. I know that was a lot, so you probably are just trying to take a breath. It's okay. This is being recorded. We will be sending this recording out to everyone who registered for today. So please do take a look and let us know. But if not, happy to give you back another 15 minutes of your day if that's what you'd like. But we are here now to answer questions. So we just want to say a quick thank you from all of us here at NHA for being with us today. We are so excited to have you on board. And again, you guys are truly heroes. Oh, great. There's a question posted. All right, let's just go. So where are questions? Difficult questions are considered regarding topic or wording. So I believe that this question is about how those questions are designed. So when we're talking about our exam design, though every question gets evaluated, and I mentioned several different committees. That includes a bias committee, a wording committee, right? How do we put those together? So those are all evaluated to make sure that they are not only neutral, but provide the clearest guide towards that mastery of the topic. So the difficulty is based on probability. So I mentioned earlier that there's questions in every test that we don't score. On the test plan, they're labeled as pre-test. What that means is we're using that time to really gauge how strong those questions are. Are they applicable? Are people going to be getting them right or wrong? And we use that data throughout the life cycle of an exam to develop new questions, but also to help understand where that test is in its journey. So hopefully that answers that question about difficulty. Not every question is going to be crazy hard. Some are, and not everybody gets the same amount of hard questions. It just depends on your test. Every test will have the same point value. So everyone gets a fair shot. They all get the same amount of questions in the same categories, but varying levels of difficulty and some of those other kind of scalable pieces. So hopefully that answered that question that came in. And I think that's the only one we've got. So we're going to go ahead and close up our session today. Again, I want to thank everybody so much for being here with us today. Have a wonderful afternoon, and thank you again.